For any member of the public to address the commission. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the commission?
Okay, watch this today.
Good morning, Henry McClure, Shawnee County, Kansas. A dear friend of mine the other day at a public meeting said, Henry, you know, your Lawrence Bay issue might have pulled a thread. And the comments that I've made in the public about Lawrence Bay and the a decade goes by of not collecting taxes. And as I talk about trying to sit up there with you guys, or two of you, what worries me more than anything is how many Lawrence Bays are in the hidden within the other people that haven't paid taxes. And maybe we need to look by the last name instead of, as your counselor says, you only look at the ID numbers, the parcel IDs numbers. Well, maybe we ought to cull the herd by last name, and maybe some of them just for some reason got overlooked over the years. It's very troubling to have people get special treatment, especially when it comes to paying taxes and property taxes. The county counselor points out that it's so laborious and it just seems like a mountainous tax every year, or a task to have these auctions and things. Have we ever just sat back and called somebody and say, would you just give us your property back? Why don't we have a voluntary surrender? You know, in the real estate business, we do deed in lieu of foreclosure all the time when people don't live up to a contract. So there doesn't have to be a legal mechanism. And the idea of your county counselor shaking his head over there about my comments.
I'm shaking the head at the massive amounts of misinformation and how someone can get my comments so wrong. But go ahead.
Is that your... Do I have to take that as a citizen? Is this now a back and forth? Have you changed the rules?
If you got a comment to make, Mr. McClure, make it.
Well, I think your county counselor is completely out of line.
I take that as a compliment.
Thank you. But this is a reflection of how you three run this business. This is a complete reflection that you let your counselor, you better tighten his leash. I think your counselor's action, a guilty dog barks the loudest. But so I digress. But boy, I'm really ready to rise to the challenge here. So how many Lawrence Bays are within, and when I say Lawrence Bays, the theory of Lawrence Bay, where some guy got overlooked. So, but how many other ones are in there and all the back taxes? How many, so we have a form online that you can point out the shortcomings of properties, but why don't we just start a thing where hey, just give us the property. You're not going to pay taxes on it. So lawyers really like to make things complicated, because the more complicated things are, they think it justifies their position. Well, why don't we try to streamline the process? Let's have a, hey, give your property back day. If you're not going to do anything with it, you're not going to pay taxes, and you don't really want it. The other day I was on the WIBW's the Red Couch, and man, I sure gained a whole new respect for Melissa. She is a pro, and she really asked some good questions. Actually, she asked some questions that in hindsight, I sure would have answered differently. And there's things we can be doing today to make life better as far as our planning commissions go. There's an opportunity. You can create a third planning commission today that kicks the city out of the 3-mile radius, where they don't just have complete rule over it. The 3-mile radius is terrible because we don't have a public official that you could complain to. But not that you'd listen. I've come down here and tried to make some suggestions. A guy that brought in a Pizza Hut that took 2 years to get a permit just to move them 600 feet. A brand new Panda Express up at 25th and Rochester on the north side of Highway 24. A new Chick-fil-A, a new Whataburger. These are all private enterprise working. But I don't stand here with any standing due to the fact it wasn't synthesized through the Greater Topeka Partnership. And I feel that way. I hope you two don't buy into this riverfront thing. It's the next boondoggle of Shawnee County. You're not going to be able to tie no-toe in downtown Topeka. Your friend down there has got a lot of vacancies. See your signs. There's a lot of vacancies in downtown Topeka that there's millions of dollars of taxpayer money that didn't fill them up. I mean, if downtown was burgeoning with and no vacancies, and the same with no-toe, there'd be some guy that would want to have a footbridge, and private enterprise would pay for it. But you can't make a market. My friend Paul was over here telling me, "Guy, look at this town. Look at this town and the success they had with the riverfront project." It doesn't always work. We can't keep trying to make markets that don't exist. If there were a market for it, a guy like me would be down here trying to get you to approve something and then running into roadblocks. But spending taxpayer money, the best way you can develop or help us government is to maybe waive fees for people in areas you don't want things. But this 3-mile radius thing, it's affecting me today. The city planning wants me to build a driveway, a concrete or a paved driveway that opens up onto Hope Road, which is a dirt road. And they don't even want to let me say, well, look, let me use gravel today. Let me use gravel today, and when you guys pave Hope, I'll change it. They won't even do that. And that's where maybe the county's input might be more appropriate than having the city have the final decision. There's so many things we can do today to make it better, and we don't have to wait for an election today to make our life better. I'm really taken back by the way I was treated here today. Shame on you.